I want to thank you for your time today, Riley. I know it's been a whirlwind the last month at least
Yeah.
now. So I just wanted to, I guess, start off with, rumors were running crazy in the QMJHL as early as November about a potential move. And then, you kind of come back, play games into the new year, and then eventually traded the day of the trade deadline. So I guess we just wanted to know, walk me through the mindset, being with the Titans and then knowing what's coming. And then when it eventually happens, how did you react?
Yeah. So for me, like I personally thought everything would be done before Christmas. So it was a long process. Like you said, the last day of the trade deadline. It was a bit tough, like knowing I'm gonna get traded, but still playing for Bathurst. It was kind of weird. It felt and like everyone on my team kind of knew too. So it was a different situation. I think that's a good way to put it. But I'm super glad how everything turned out. I'm super glad I'm in Gatineau, and I think Gatineau is a perfect spot for me.
Yeah, and they were after you basically from the get-go, from what we were told. I mean, very interested. And
Yeah,
there were even folks in the Gatineau area that were like, hey, I think Gordy Dwyer is asking for too much because we really like him, but like
yeah,
that's a big price. And obviously they ended up paying it,
yeah,
which goes to show you. But really, when we looked at their roster, the last thing that they were really missing was a bona fide top end center. So they went and got you. I guess my question is, how was that integration process? Like, I believe you played the very same day you got traded. Is that right?
yeah. So the day I got traded, I found out at like 7 in the morning, and then I had
Yeah.
someone pick me up from the hotel at in Gatineau at 9, and then I drove to Quebec City. I showed up for the pregame meal, and then I went right to the rink right after that, and that's where I kind of met all the guys like in the dressing room right before the game, which is very very weird and kind of I had never experienced that before, so it was a bit tough. It was a bit tough the first game, but the second game with my line mates, like everything kind of felt natural and felt good. It wasn't a long process like progress to meet them, and like they're all good guys, and they after the first game and the first day, like they were all like super friendly, so it was like that part made it super easy as well.
Is there one specific player out there that basically came in and was like, "You're one of us"? Like, there's usually always one guy that kind of like takes you under their
Yeah.
wing at the beginning.
Yeah, like I think a guy like Cole Cormier, he's a 20-year-old in the team. He's a leader. So the first day I was there, he was talking to me a lot. So that made the transition to a new team a lot easier.
And then, right, you had mentioned your first game, getting used to your teammates. I believe the second game you had like a 3-point game right off the bat. Um, and then since then, it's been pretty the offense has basically been, if not better, around the same as what you were doing with Acadie. And
Yeah.
you're just, slowly starting to get started with them. Actually better. Sorry, my math was off a little bit, but better. So what in terms of the offensive production, or what in terms of how they play is better suited to your style you find right now?
Yeah. Obviously, I think playing on a better team is a lot easier to put up goals and points and stuff. So like yeah, like this starting in Bathurst, we kind of struggled a bit. But yeah, here we have a great team, and I have great line mates. I think me and my two line mates kind of work perfect together. We fill in all the stuff like a sniper, playmaker, grinder, power forward. Like we all kind of fit in that. So it's just so far it's working perfect, and I think we just have chemistry. Like the last few games, we kind of know where each other are, and each game is just getting better and better.
Yeah, it's definitely a +5 chemistry on NHL 23 from what I've been
Yeah,
seeing.
yeah,
Um, in terms of, obviously you come into a new team, everyone's kind of just looking at the President's Cup playoffs and so on. But is there something that you would still like to improve on while you're there to better prepare you not only just for the playoffs, but for next year?
yeah. Obviously, like I know next year, I'll be turning pro. So I need to each game I focus on trying to have pro habits. Like for example, like stopping on the puck, forechecking hard, finishing checks, and just playing at a faster pace. Because I know next year is going to be a whole nother level. The pace is going to be a lot faster. So that's one of the things Montreal told me, just try to play with a fast pace. So that's one of the biggest things I'm focusing on now each game and even each practice too. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the first thing anybody will tell you. I mean, you when you were with Laval last year, I think it was very evident, you know, the that little switch up, and then there's
Yeah.
another switch up when you go from American Hockey League to NHL.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest hurdles that most prospects will have, especially in your case being a center, is the foot speed, explosivity standpoint. And
Yeah.
obviously, you know, you're good stature, but there's a lot of room to add to your frame.
Yeah.
How has the conditioning aspect of it kind of factored in? Because that is also going to be a huge thing going from, you know, junior to pro.
Yeah. Yeah. Personally for me, like I think my conditioning is good, but yeah, like I need to gain a lot more muscle and just become bigger and faster. Like my foot speed, like my explosiveness, needs to be better because everyone in the next level is fast and explosive. So if I want to do it well, then I gotta really work on that. But yeah, I think like this summer is a really important summer for me to just focus like a lot in the gym and just try to gain as much muscle as I can. Because if I do that, then it will help me on the ice next year.
Absolutely. And whenever I have this conversation, I always like to distinguish between like adding muscle and adding lean muscle.
Yeah.
Because you can't, at some point in time, like we even in Montreal, we had this situation where Yuri Slafkovsky came in at 238 pounds and everybody was like, what?
Yeah.
And it was almost like too much muscle was added and it kind of affected his speed. So where do you balance that for yourself in terms of your vision? Because obviously you want to play with pace, you want to play with speed, you don't want the weight to hold you down. So what's that balance for you? What would you be looking more towards? More explosion and less rigidity, or are you looking to get kind of bigger up top and then focus more on your game mentally?
Yeah. For me, I'd say like the number one thing I'm focusing on is like trying to get more powerful legs. I think
Yeah.
legs is probably the most important thing as a hockey player. So yeah, like obviously I'm focused on both, and I need to try to find like a good spot in the middle where like how much muscle I can gain without affecting me on the ice. So I still need to kind of figure exactly that out. But I think the number one thing right now would probably just be like my foot speed. That's the number one focus, and I think working on that, um, the strength will come with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun conversation because I see the parallels and having spoken to him too. But when he was your age, Nick Suzuki had the exact same kind of mindset where you had saw, and in fact, you saw him play at the Memorial Cup. But
Yeah.
you know that the player that you saw at the Memorial Cup speed versus what you saw in Montreal 4 or 5 months later was almost night and day because
Yeah.
he had spent that entire summer with a speed skating coach to really take it up a notch. So
Yeah.
I guess, you know, bringing it back to goals, you know, you're turning pro next year. Obviously you'll have Montreal training camp. For development's sake, could be also a lot of time in Laval going up
Yeah.
and down. What do you feel is outside of the physical aspect, what do you feel you need to do from a mental perspective now to prepare for something like that then?
Yeah. I think like for a mental thing, I just need to, like I said earlier, like just I need to play as if I'm playing a pro game every day. Need to show up to the rink and be a pro. Because like need to start pro habits early. Because I can't just start them and learn them while I'm there. And I want to kind of know the habits, know the right routines and stuff even before I show up. So yeah, each day I go to the rink, I work on that, and every time I go on the ice, I try to focus on that too.
Yeah, and obviously you won't be doing it alone, right? You'll
Yeah.
have you'll have obviously Gatineau following along, but the Canadiens are also pretty involved this season with their prospects as opposed
Yeah.
to years prior. And I guess I just wanted to get your take on that because other prospects obviously have spoken about it, and I just wanted to see to what level. So, I mean, since you've been traded, it probably hasn't been too involved, but throughout the season, the Canadiens obviously went and fleshed out their developmental team. How have they helped your game so far this season?
Yeah, I talked to Rob Ramage quite a bit. He texts me after games. He calls me too. So we talk about my game. And yeah, like it's a lot easier when you have like that type of support. It's also a lot better here in Gatineau. Montreal is only like 2 hours away. So
Yeah.
if they ever want to come down and see me, I'm not very far for them. So it makes everything a lot easier. But yeah, I just think like yeah, me and Rob Ramage talk quite a bit throughout the year, and that helps me.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the first things when we saw like the teams that would be in the running for you. At first, the Sherbrooke was kind of involved, Quebec City
Yeah,
was kind of involved, and Gatineau. We're like, oh, okay. Worst case scenario, if we want to come see you, it's just a short drive this time around,
yeah,
not flight.
yeah, exactly.
Um, and then lastly, how has your relationship been with Adam Nicholas as well? Because obviously Rob Ramage has been around for a while with the Montreal Canadiens, handled mostly development, but here we're talking about like skills development and more like going through plays and whatnot. Have you had interactions with him as well during that process?
Yeah, like even this summer, that's when I first met him. And he kind of he taught me some things on the ice, and like everything he says, it's kind of interesting to listen because he knows what he's talking about. So when he talks, he's the type of guy you want to listen to. And yeah, like even the training camp in September, he was there too, working with me and everything. So like I've learned quite a bit from him, even from the short time I've been around him and talking to him. But yeah, I like throughout the year, like hopefully, maybe he can kind of make a trip up to Gatineau, or I can see him and stuff and go on the ice with him and try to work on a few things. And yeah,
But and during the season since training camp, has he been in communication at all in terms
yeah,
of
like
like emails or whatnot?
he messaged me. Um, like he sends me videos and stuff. Like he kind of like it's a minute long video and it's just him talking and going through the play and what I could do and what I should do better. And then if I make a good play, he recognizes it. He says it. So yeah, just like
Awesome.
kind of like yeah, like little like videos like that help my game too because I try to like what he says. I try to listen to it and bring it to my game to try to make it better.
And is there something in particular that he's told you or that he's highlighted in these videos that has stuck with you? If there's
Yeah,
one that comes to mind.
yeah. Like he like in the videos he sent me. He showed some videos of me bringing up the wall. But he said like to attack the net more, bring it to the middle or bring it to the dangerous areas because um, all the dangerous stuff in hockey kind of happens in the middle of the ice. So he said try to be more of a attacking mindset and just bring it to the net and bring it to the middle of the ice more.
Well, I mean, some of your offense with Gatineau has been right around that high danger area.
Yeah,
So clearly, I guess why that sticks out.
yeah,
Um, I guess last point of contention here is, you have a team in Gatineau that basically has four top 10 picks in the QMJHL draft, directly preceding, I believe, yours. Right after yours.
yeah.
And so this is a team built to win now. What do you think you can bring to this team to help push them over the edge?
Yeah, like I said, like we have a super good team. We're super deep. But I think the biggest thing I can bring to this team is just high, like a lot of offense. I can create a lot of scoring chances. Every time I'm on the ice, I can create something. So I look forward to the rest of the games here in the playoffs to be that the guy they look to if they need a goal, to put me in the ice. And also like I'm working to really improve my 200-foot game too to be more reliable in the D zone. But I think my biggest thing with them is just creating scoring opportunities and just setting up a big goal or even scoring a big goal when the team needs it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we always think back to your draft year, like that was the defining moment, that
Yeah,
playoffs with Acadie where you had like almost 2 points per game, and
Yeah.
people were like, okay. So I guess in closing, you talk about being the guy to score the big goal, to score to be the difference maker. What do you feel, as you're getting into later stages of the playoffs, what do you feel you need to do beyond what you've already accomplished to be that difference maker? You've spoken about improving your 200-foot game, but is there anything that you can do on the ice offensively? We talk about going to the net before, that you could bring to this team, who's already, a pretty experienced team, that could help in terms of playoff success. Because winning when it matters really is kind of crux. So how can you be clutch for that team?
Yeah, like personally for me, I think the biggest thing for me is just confidence. You need to play with a lot of confidence, and I think personally for me, in big games, that's the games I show up to, and that's games I kind of play my best at. When the games are close and the games mean more. So I think personally for me, it's just my mindset. I gotta show up prepared every game, and when it gets deep in the playoffs, I'm ready and I'm confident that I'll be that guy that the team needs. And like I said before, like things like attacking the net, bringing it to the middle, just playing at a higher pace. Those things will obviously help being a key guy, scoring big goals. So yeah, I'm confident in that, and I'm excited for it.
And then lastly, the 2 times you were at the Bell Center this year, you happened to be against the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah,
Irony, wasn't it?
yeah.
So
Funny.
what did you think of the Bell Center crowd this time around in a regular season game?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Every goal I was kind of like, wow, like I never realized how loud it was when I was playing. But when you're watching, it's a different experience. You take it all in, and it's pretty special to see. And hopefully one day I can be a part of it and on the ice and making them cheer.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, that's how loud they are when the Montreal Canadiens are in the bottom 10 of the standings. Wait till
Yeah,
they're in a playoff hunt. Every goal will be
yeah,
earth shattering.
yeah. I can
But yeah,
imagine.
no, like I said, being a guy that wants to make a difference, that's what people like in Montreal. And I
Yeah,
think where I want to kind of conclude this would be, you've watched what you saw on the ice. You see difference makers. We spoke of Nick Suzuki in the past. You know, how would you kind of respond to that pressure given this market? How would you how would you sell yourself to fans being like, I can handle this. I can withstand this kind of environment and produce? Because you said you want to be the guy that they cheer one day
yeah,
down the line.
yeah. Personally for me, like I like the pressure. Kind of makes me more motivated and to play and to just I don't know. I find personally it just makes me play better. Gives me a lot of motivation on the ice and kind of just fuels me. And it just makes me excited to have people relying on me. I think that's the best thing about hockey is when people lean on you and you produce. So that situation makes me excited and makes me eager to do that one day for Montreal Canadiens.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm telling you, fans are gonna eat that up. I could tell you that much.
Sure.
Well, look, I think I've taken up enough of your time today, Riley. But I really just want to wish you the best of luck for this season. Hopefully, we see you very very
Yep.
deep into the playoffs in May,
Yeah.
and I'll catch you probably during development camp in July.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot.